So coming back to safety first, what do you need to avoid? Avoid any schemes that are not regulated by a regulator, first of all. I mean, even there, like I told you, those insurance schemes, there's no point in going to IRDA. Nothing's going to happen because you have to explain why you signed on the dotted line and bought things. But at least if it is a proper regulator, you have a course of action. You can go to the regulator. There is an ombudsman usually. You can file a complaint. Without it, you can't even do it, which is all the plantation companies. You remember in the 80s and 90s, actually, mid-90s, there was no recourse. They were not under any regulation. Art funds. Many people have lost money in Ocean. Even today, the guy is back in business, but people haven't got their money back. And like I told you, it is so shameless that the man is back in business. The case is in SEBI. And because class action doesn't work as yet, and because we can't get together, these people who've got cheated are all over the country, and many of them are very rich, so they can afford to write off 5 lakhs and 10 lakhs, or they think it's too much trouble to get together to fight for it. And people don't want, people's attitude is, I've already lost 10 lakhs. Why should I spend another 50,000 to, even as a part of a group, on a lawyer or something else, because the cases will drag on. So in India, we allow crooks to get away because we don't have class action. This is one of the things that we need to lobby for. We need to be able to allow lawyers to take on our cases on contingency basis. I hope all NGOs who work with people like us will get together to impress on the government that you have to allow lawyers to take on cases like this. Otherwise, we can't afford to go to court. Because even when a lawyer tells you, I'm appearing pro bono, just the costs, including the cost of an advocate on record and everything, becomes prohibitive. And again, NGOs like us get very, very little funding, because I keep saying, as far as the NGO world is concerned, we are not in more glamorous areas where it tugs at the heartstrings. So if you say it's cancer patients, or if you say it's the destitute, or it's something else, people give money. I mean, I and you would give money to causes like that more easily than we would for financial literacy or financial advocacy, right? But the point is, then you have nobody who's fighting for your rights. You don't even have a system where someone can fight for your rights, because if the lawyer was allowed to charge contingency fees, then he takes on the responsibility as well as the cost to fight, and we do not even have a system of exemplary damages. That is even worse. So it's not even worth the while of a lawyer to take the risk on fighting a case, because in most cases, even in consumer courts, we have found that they give you whatever is your money back, and they will give you costs which are so ridiculously low, which are not even 1/10 of what you've actually spent, and absolutely no damages or legal fees. And this is the experience of every single NGO that has fought consumer cases or helped people fight consumer cases. So essentially, my message is that you're on your own. You have to be smart. You have to be careful. So the only way you can do it is avoid anything that looks like a problem, because you know that otherwise you'll end up with a fight on your hands. One way to look at it is simple. If it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. Okay. So anytime somebody gives you, say 3% more than a bank FD, it's not something to be happy about. You just have to investigate, ask questions, because nobody who's in business is giving you a higher return unless there is some problem. And the higher return is always associated with a very high risk. I'll give you an example. I'm sure everyone in this room remembers C.R. Bansali, right? Any of you lost money in C.R. Bansali? No? Good, smart set of people here. But I remember a huge bunch of people came to meet me, and I had written the first story on C.R. Bansali. And they kept saying, help us to fight it. I used to be in the Times of India those days. And since we knew for a long time that this man is really shady, and none of his, he handles the most strange public issues, we were wondering, why would people go and invest money in C.R. Bansali? So somebody from Kolhapur had something interesting to say. He said, look, you as a journalist may know a lot of things from the inside. I'm sitting in Kolhapur. You tell me what is wrong with what I have done. I looked at his credit rating for the money that he had. He had a AAA rating. I looked at the fact that he not only has got the highest number of issues handled as an investment banker. Every time I open the papers, I see him posing with the SEBI chairman. So one assumes that, he's a respectable top of the line investment banker. I look at the fact that the RBI has given him a provisional license to open a bank. The regulator is supposed to check hard enough before allowing someone to start a mutual fund. He was allowed to start a mutual fund. So he says, what did I do wrong? And with all this, if this company is giving 3% more and a gift to people who are opening FDs, what is wrong in what I did by hawking it? And I had no answer. Okay. But I think the answer is just this, that if he was so good, he would have given 0.5% less, not more. Because it should be much easier for him to raise money. If you are AAA rated, if you are so good, you don't need to give a higher interest, because no one's running a charity, right? He's not saying, I like all you people in the room, I think you all deserve 2% more. He's giving it to everybody, and he's giving it because that's the only cost at which he's able to raise money. He has to give you a gift because that is the cost at which he's able to raise money. But the number of senior citizens that have lost money over there is humongous, because when you're living on retirement funds, you feel 1% more or 2% more is that much more spending money every month. And that is a cardinal mistake. Every time there is a company which raises fixed deposits at a higher rate, the biggest victims are senior citizens, because they are most tempted with that 1, 2, 3% more. So if the interest rate is higher, think twice.